As I start this video, this is probably one of the scariest and most detailed bear attacks that has ever been recorded, and especially in this kind of detail. This man who survived a horrible polar bear attack tells us exactly what he was thinking in his mind as he thought he was about to die. And in many people's opinions, it was almost a miracle that he survived, because the amount of time he spent in the polar bear's jaws would have been enough to kill almost anybody. First, to start off this story, let's travel to the heart of Torngat Mountains National Park, where the beauty of nature conceals the lurking terrors that await. His name, Matt Dyer, and his companions are on an awe-inspiring journey, encountering polar bears that are both majestic and extremely powerful. As they were exploring the landscape, they saw a mother bear and her cub walking down the beach, a sight so serene but harboring an immense hidden power. As they traversed the landscape, the mountains stand tall in the background, creating a mesmerizing backdrop for the unfolding drama. And keep in mind that the whole point of his journey was to see these majestic creatures. Although he would have preferred that the bears had been a bit more afraid of humans, he did not want them gone, because this was the whole part about being in Torngat Mountains National Park, a place that was originally created for the polar bears' protection. Late on July 23rd, he went to sleep with bears in his mind. Earlier that day, he had seen some bears on the hills above the camp, but the tents were all clustered together with an electric bear-deterring fence surrounding them. He used this as a constant reminder that humans can easily become prey. He woke up around 2:30 in the morning and shouted "bear" in the camp as he saw a shadow of a polar bear right outside his tent. Immediately after this, it dragged him into the animal world. It was biting his head through the tent. He covered his head with his hands, but it crushed them completely and was tossing him around like a doll. He could feel its fur on the other side of the fabric and was tugging on his skull, trying to separate him from the loose outer layer of nylon skin. Bear flew backwards and he went with it. They hit the ground at once. He then remembers feeling a sudden sharp pressure in his chest. His lung collapsed, and his jaw began to crack inside the bear's. The bear now had him clean in the head and was galloping towards the beach. He then remembers thinking that it was taking him into the water. That's what it would do with a seal. It wants to get me away from those people. He begins thinking, any moment the light is out, you're gonna die. A bone cracked in his skull or neck. There was no pain. He thought that it was good that the body was made like this. No pain in the final moments. He thought about all his family members and went over in his mind to see if they would all be okay if he died. The bear began to breathe harder. He could tell that he was struggling with him, an oversized, bony seal. He then thinks again, any second the land would go black, the fishy smell would disappear, and his mind would end forever. All die, this is it, you're going home. He then remembers trying to pretend he was dead. Thought that squirrels do this when cats try to get them. He tried to roll over, but he wasn't moving. He remembers feeling a stranger's hands running over his body, and someone yelling, "We can't move him." Everything blacked out after this, and all he remembers was waking up with tons of tubes and other things attached to him in a hospital bed. He then began to cry as his family looked on over him. This is truly an amazing story about someone who was able to survive such a horrible attack. This should be a reminder of the raw power of the wilderness, and that we as humans are easy prey to animals like a massive polar bear. And the line between life and death is both fragile and resilient. If you enjoyed this short episode, make sure to subscribe to start to finish as we continue to unveil some of the shocking stories and wonders in the natural world.